as well as from you, and talking about the effort and, the blood, sweat, and the tears that goes in, and the friendships and the bonds that are made, because I'm sure it's a learning process as well.
It really is. It's a learning process, and it's also it's about developing ourselves as leaders and have the opportunity to develop the leadership skills of young people. And when I'm side by side with these students, with CUNY students, I can't help but feel hopeful and also feel like, it's we embody that hope. Like we are the hope. Mm-hmm. And we need that type of experience, I think, for young people to do the type of service and to know what's possible. And it may seem daunting in light of the huge task that's before us, and at the same time, it's hard to put into words the experience of being on the ground, or being on a roof, and working with your own hands and knowing that what we're doing is making a difference for someone.
Sure, that's really important. It's critically important. You're listening to Bronx Journal Radio from Lehman College. Mariposa, thank you very much for being with us. Let's get things started with our guests and our students who are going to be talking to the other students, and I think that's where this program is really going to get interesting. I am looking very much forward to hearing the student stories. And can you give us perhaps some information if people want to get involved, if we have students who are listening who might want to get involved, what can they do?
The application link is going to go live very soon, sometime in March. So students can actually go to CUNY Service Corps, and I will give you the link to the website in a second. We're also on Facebook, but CUNY Service Corps Puerto Rico is going to be accepting applications very soon.
All right, great. All right, so let's get our program started for tonight. This is Lehman College Bronx Journal Radio. My guest for this segment of the program has been Mariposa Fernandez, who is a professor here at Lehman College and also at City College, and is very, very involved and very well versed in what's happening in Puerto Rico and the recovery efforts there. Mariposa, thank you very much for being part of the program, and we look forward to speaking with you and hearing everything that the guests that you're providing us with tonight have to say about the recovery. Thanks so much for joining us.
Welcome to Bronx Journal Radio.
Welcome to Bronx Journal Radio, coming to you tonight.
City University of New York. We have a very special program for you tonight. Tonight's program is all about the recovery effort in Puerto Rico. We are going to hear from several students.
Hi, this is Jonathan Santos, a media communication student at Lehman College.
Hi, this is Ashley Lorenzo, a journalism major at Lehman College.
Welcome to our live program in which we'll be interviewing CUNY students that have participated as volunteers to rebuild the damage that Hurricane Irma and Maria caused in Puerto Rico. We will also be speaking with Orlando Lopez, a chaperone and volunteer for CUNY Service Corp Puerto Rico, and Mariposa Fernandez, the program director for CUNY Service Corp Puerto Rico and CUNY administrator. Our current guests are Tashi Sanjo and Orlando Lopez. Tashi and Orlando recently volunteered in Orocovis and Morovis, Puerto Rico during the winter of 2019. They previously volunteered in the summer of 2018 through the CUNY Service Corps Puerto Rico program in the efforts of rebuilding the island of Puerto Rico. Thank you for coming in today.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so the first question would be, what are your thoughts on Hurricane Maria and the damage you all got to see firsthand in Puerto Rico?
First of all, I want to say thank you for having us today. It's really honor and pleasure being here. So I've been to Puerto Rico 2 times. First time over the summer, second time recently in January. So first time I did service in a small community named La Playita. So when I got there, when I see the living condition of people, how they live, like it was very heartbreaking to see through my eye, and also most of them were elderly people and low-income families. So just seeing how people live there, having no proper roof, not proper shelters, and I mean I heard so many from news, watching videos. I heard a lot about it before, but seeing from my eye was very heartbreaking, and it was very eye-opening for me as well. And this second time, it was very, very similar to like last time as well. But this time I was more like, I have more knowledge about it. And it was also very heartbreaking to see still like, after summer, I think after coming back from summer then going over this time, but still people are like recovering from it, needed help. It was very heartbreaking to see how people are living there, and help is very much needed. Recovery, like just help is very needed, the people in Puerto Rico.
Okay, thank you.
So what really motivated you to lend a helping hand, to really go out there and, take that big step? A lot of people can't do that, A lot of people don't have the guts to do so.
Oh, that's really awesome question. It's, like what motivated me to do that. So, so as a human being, like, it's I feel like after from Puerto Rico, I feel I'm a global citizen. I feel like whenever there's help needed, it's just go there and help it. Like, and what really motivated me was that, just because I came from a family where like I came from a country where I heard about it. Like, I'm from Nepal as well, and Nepal had a natural disaster earthquake back in 2017. So I heard so many heartbreaking stories from there. And truth be told, one of my friends passed away in Nepal due to Hurricane Maria. So that's kind of motivated me, like, natural disaster. I have a friend who passed away. Now I had an opportunity to help people in Puerto Rico. So that really motivated me to help there and go and help more and more in Puerto Rico.
Absolutely.
This question can also be for Orlando. Can you tell me what kind of things you got to do as being in Puerto Rico, helping rebuild the homes? Is there anything else you were able to learn and contribute to?
Well, again, thank you for having us in the program. It's nice to be here at Lehman College. I also had an opportunity to serve with Tashi in Orocovis and Morovis. One of the things that you learn when you're helping people in Puerto Rico, you see how the devastation is still there, and it hasn't gone away. After a year of Hurricane Maria and the devastation that we saw, you would think that things would change. But as you're flying into Puerto Rico, you still see the blue tarps, which were only supposed to be there temporarily. And most recently, we were working in Morovis with some families that very low-income families. And we felt, the struggle that they were going through. I mean, we were fixing roofs that needed to be repaired months ago. And we were working on about 12 houses. And what we noticed is that the spirit is still strong of Puerto Rico. The people are generous and caring, and they open up their houses to you because they know that you're there to help. And the people in Puerto Rico that we're not even helping on the houses also treat you with that kind of a family type of an atmosphere, saying, "Oh, you're here to help." I was born here in New York, but my family was from Puerto Rico, and it was nice to have an opportunity to go there and actually help the people of Puerto Rico recover. There's still a lot of work to be done. So I would say that this is the beginning of the Service Corps Puerto Rico. And I think if you remember when this first started, the governor of New York did something. New York stands with Puerto Rico, and that's how this whole thing started. And City University of New York and SUNY also cooperated and did a lot of work together. And one of the nicest things that we did in Puerto Rico is that we had students from SUNY as well as CUNY working together. We actually lived together on a complex, Maria Auxiliaria. And the SUNY students were there, the CUNY students were there, and we were working on houses together with Heart 911 and Nakima in San Juan. So it was really an opportunity to work with skilled tradesmen, and it was really nice to see the students actually learn skills that they didn't have before. And the second time around, a lot of our students actually knew what they were doing, probably more so than some of the tradesmen that came to actually work. So some of them were asking us, well, what are we going to do? You know, and basically the students were telling them exactly what to do because they were there and they were working on roofs. And they're looking forward to actually going again because this group of students were considered student leaders and selected out of the 200 students that came before. And they're going to be helping out in the summer coming up again with students.
That's amazing.
That is amazing. A question for the both of you guys. What is the most significant thing or experience you've seen or witnessed yourselves while out there, you know, helping these people and seeing these, doing these recovery efforts?
Well, I know that people are grateful about the help that you're providing. I remember we were working on one house, and this man was sitting in the living room, and he started to cry. You know, literally started to cry out of nowhere. And all you could do is, like, you know, comfort him, and he felt this satisfaction because he knew that we were there to help. And it was overwhelming for him because, you know, they suffered a lot in their family. And it was like 9 or 10 months, whatever, before anybody actually came to do anything in the household. And he was so grateful that he really was doing that. And, you know, the generosity of the people of Puerto Rico, they opened up their houses to you. I mean, they were offering us food. They were offering us anything. And they didn't want anything from us. You know, they did not want to take anything from us. And they just were very generous, caring, and very proud people of Puerto Rico.
And on top of what Orlando said, like the work we did, the houses we built, where most of them were for the low income and elderly people, so which is very different than others. So and people in Puerto Rico, like, you know, I felt like I'm sure a lot of students felt the same way. The way I felt is that like we went there to change the life of people, but in return they change our life. Like, you know, they give us a sense of hope, empathy. They bring us together. So at the same time, just connecting with the, you know, local people, with elderly people, having some conversation with them, and also just connecting with our CUNY students, like, you know, our friend, even though we don't know each other before, but once we get there, we're knowing each other. That was a very important part of it, of doing service in Puerto Rico as well.
Absolutely. How do you feel about the government's response towards Hurricane Maria? This question can be for both.
Which government's response? The United States?
That is correct. We can start with the U.S., yes.
Well, you know, Puerto Ricans are United States citizens. And as was mentioned before by Mariposa, there's been a lack of support financially, monetarily, domestically for the island of Puerto Rico. You've probably heard that they did want to divert some money that was designated to help the island of Puerto Rico recover. Yeah. And they wanted to use it to build a wall in Mexico. So when we look at those situations, we say, why is that being done? Yeah. You know, when there's such a big need in Puerto Rico to fix Puerto Rico. It's going to take a lot of money, billions of dollars. So it was mentioned already, and to see money diverted to another cause really makes us feel that they're not really doing as much as they could for Puerto Rico.
I think a really big question is, why is that? Why do you feel? Because when you listen to people speaking on this subject, a lot of the time they want to say it has to do with possible the depth that they have, or it could have to do with racism or what have you. What do you think it is?
You might as well keep going because it is the racism, it is the history of Puerto Rico.
Right.
That some people feel that we should be citizens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some people say it should be a commonwealth, but the debt is a big issue,
Yeah.
and it was cited by the president as one of the reasons why he didn't want to help.
Mm-hmm.
And he also said that he didn't want to send money to Puerto Rico because he feels that that's going to be diverted to pay the debt. So he doesn't feel that should be something that happens. But, all you can do is keep the faith and hope that enough people in Congress make the right decisions to make sure that the money goes to the right people of Puerto Rico.
Of course.
I know Tashi mentioned how he knew someone that was affected by Hurricane Maria. Orlando, do you know anyone else who experienced the recent hurricane directly or indirectly? Because I feel like that affects us in the U.S. as well,
Well, you know,
families and friends.
when we went to Puerto Rico, we didn't know how many families were affected by the hurricane or the amount of damage that was created by the hurricane. If you saw pictures of that, you'd say, wow, that's crazy. You know, to be without light, you know, for months, when we can't even be without our cell phones for 2 minutes, right?
That's true.
I mean, if you think about that, without fresh water, without light, with the devastation that took place in Puerto Rico, you can just imagine how those people had to come together. And this is what's one of the things that we found out. They were talking about coming together as a community, as groups. People that never spoke to each other before said, let's get together, let's do something for our communities. And a lot of that took place in Puerto Rico.
If given the opportunity to go back millions more times, would you guys do it?
I'm definitely down for it.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, like 100%, it's a brain or like no brain. Like if you decided not to go, so it's an opportunity that you get once in a lifetime. So and you get a chance to help people. Like you know, like that's why not go again? So I'm definitely like down for it.
Yeah, CUNY Service Corps Puerto Rico is alive and kicking. And we're just starting this effort.
Absolutely.
And I think we're going to continue the effort through the summer, through the winter, as long as we have to make sure that Puerto Rico recovers. And we want to make sure that those families that need the help get the help. And there's still a lot of families that need help in Puerto Rico.
Are there any services that you would like to see CUNY Service Corps Puerto Rico contribute to in Puerto Rico, aside from, you know, fixing the homes? Is there anything else that you're looking forward to doing if you're able to go back?
I think I thought about like water a little bit. I feel like it will be great for the people if we provide, like if we do something that's related to the safety of water. Because one of my friend I met you know Caesar, right? He came there, then he went back again to Puerto Rico like the following week. So he did the project about like how to have a safety of water. So it will be great if we work more on the like safety of water as well.
Yes, I would also add the health is a critical issue, and nutrition is a critical issue in Puerto Rico as well. So we need to make sure that people remain healthy and get the proper medical care necessary, because we do have a lot of elderly people in Puerto Rico, and some of them are very independent, live by themselves, and we need to make sure that we check on them and make sure that they're okay. So it would be good for us to, as a CUNY Service Corps Puerto Rico, to reach out to some of those people that are isolated to make sure that they're okay.
Absolutely. Would you guys recommend more volunteers. How are you guys reaching out and making sure that this program is known throughout all the campuses that are a part of CUNY? I really do feel like I didn't know about it until a few weeks ago. I didn't know that it was going on. So I think that awareness is a huge concern. What are you guys doing to really spread that word and really just reach out and say, like, hey, you guys can volunteer too and be a part of it?
I feel like, there's so many ways we can do. I feel like now as a social media is a great way to spread the knowledge about this as well. And also just sharing the way we are doing right now, like, giving people and sharing our experience with other people, like, and also just sometimes sharing on our social media how people are there. It's also a great way to let other people know about this program as well.
Yeah, I think CUNY is pushing CUNY Service Corps Puerto Rico very heavily. As Mariposa mentioned before, we're going to be opening it up again in March to send some more cohorts again to Puerto Rico. We hope to continue the effort. And one of the ways to do it is like Tashi said, these kind of programs that get the word out, that let people know that CUNY and SUNY and the state of New York is actively making sure that the people of Puerto Rico are going to be well taken care of for the future.
Yes.
Discussion could be for both. Do you believe FEMA was prepared to help Puerto Rico at the time that it was needed initially?
It's a difficult question to answer because we really didn't know what FEMA was doing in the beginning. And of course, as you know, Puerto Rico is an island,
Yes.
as
Yes.
someone once said, and the difficulties associated with getting help to Puerto Rico. So FEMA was on the ground. Heart 911 was on the ground. Nikema was on the ground. There were a lot of people providing support to the island. And then FEMA did a great job of helping in the beginning. There's still a lot of families that are receiving support from FEMA, but my understanding is that support is going to go away. So we have a lot of people that left the island of Puerto Rico and we're getting FEMA support. And some of them were residing, let's say, in Florida. And the money's going to run out from FEMA. So the question is, what are they going to do? Are they going to go back to Puerto Rico? And if they go back to Puerto Rico, what condition are their houses going to be in? Because a lot of them left and abandoned their homes. So not only are we dealing with the fact that we have to repair roofs and houses, but to those people that left Puerto Rico, what's going to happen if they decide to go back? What condition are the houses going to be in? My understanding is that there's a lot of homes that still need to be fixed. And one of the difficulties that they're having is establishing ownership of properties. So you need a title. You just can't say, this is my house.
Absolutely.
So one of the difficulties that they're having, and FEMA's mentioned, is the lack of titles that Puerto Rican families have to the houses. So, from generation to generation it's passed on and on. And what they're saying is that you cannot get the help from FEMA unless you provide the adequate paperwork to make sure that that happens.
One thing I'm really interested, I really like hearing about the experiences of when you guys are out there and helping these people. And what were the areas that you guys were helping in?
We were actually in the mountains of Morovis and Orocovis, which is the heart of Puerto Rico. It's in the middle of Puerto Rico.
Really?
If you drop the pin down in the middle of Puerto Rico, that's Orocovis. That's where
And
the mountain range.
when you got there, what can you see? What is like the first thing that you see besides the people? Is it grasslands? Is it trees? What is it? What's the
It's
beauty
beautiful.
of it?
It was beautiful, yeah. But the house, most of the house, they have blue tile, so that means help is needed. So, but other than that, for the place we were, there were a lot of green trees were there, but most of the house were covered with the blue tile. So, which really means, like I said before, help is needed, and there needs to be a change. It has to change before, but people are still. There are a lot of houses that are still, like, when we were going around there are a lot of houses that are covered with the blue tar. And I see it's only the blue tar is there. So, if there's a wind, it's very easy to blow away by the wind as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of beautiful scenery in Puerto Rico. It's amazing.
I have to go there.
When you look at the mountain ranges, when you look at it, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful island. But as Tashi was saying, when you see it, pinpointed with blue tarps, and it just brings it to another level. And then like I said before, you can imagine, what people went through during the hurricane. When it was actually hitting, and the eye of the hurricane actually is right over Puerto Rico, and the devastation that it caused.
How was the culture working hand in hand with other workers and CUNY students?
So it was for the past, like at the beginning, it was a little challenging because it was kind of like it was not knowing the name right away. It was a little challenging. So as the days went on, we were collaborating with each other, working together, just helping each other. If whoever need help, just call them. So it was a good the bond sharing not only with the CUNY students but also sharing with the SUNY, and also learning so much things from our city union worker as well. At one point, I felt like it was making difference in people's life and learning so many things from our like CUNY, from our friend, and also from the union workers.
Yeah, it was an interesting experience. We were working with skilled trades people, both men and women who coming from New York and all over we had some from Boston, right?
Yeah, Dan from Boston, yeah.
Dan from Boston. We had a
Dan.
lot of people who were there on the ground providing support, and they do it everywhere. They were in Haiti. So Heart 9/11 is an organization that was started after 9/11, and they provide support all around the world. So to see them come to Puerto Rico was especially nice of them to do. The other thing that I noticed is that they were very eager to help our students learn the trades. So, students that came there without really knowing how to lift the hammer, how to hammer a nail, how to put a screw in a roof, a tin roof. After that 2-week experience, they were just amazing, amazing. And like I said before, some of the new ones that come in, the skilled tradesmen, some of them are not necessarily no construction, might be tin setters or whatever. And they were asking some of our students, how do we do that?
That's amazing.
And the other nice thing that we didn't mention was that there are local carpenters in Puerto Rico.
Yes, that's right.
That are providing support, to the community in addition to apprentices. They started an apprenticeship program in Puerto Rico where they're actually teaching, the local carpenters are teaching apprentices how to fix roofs. So the next time, hopefully not in the near future, that any kind of devastating hurricane hits the island, they're going to have a trained apprentice force that's going to be able to be on the ground locally helping the people of Puerto Rico. I think that's very important. I think CUNY and SUNY and all the tradesmen providing the support is very important. But if you get those people on the ground to know how to do it, it really helps if it's local people.
And on top of that, they will be there for a longer period of time as well. So they will be there for a long period of time. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I want to thank you both for your service, of course, first and foremost. I also want to thank you for coming out here and speaking to us and really sharing such great experiences and great information with all of us.
Stay tuned. Coming up next, we'll be interviewing CUNY student Odette Fernandez and Melissa Fernandez, a program director for CUNY Service Puerto Rico program.
Radio coming to you tonight from Lehman College of the City University
you guys did a
of
great
New York.
job.
We
What?
have a very special program for you
Yeah, yes,
tonight.
good.
Tonight's
good idea.
program
Yeah,
is
yeah,
all
yeah.
about the
Yeah, yeah.
recovery effort in Puerto Rico. We are going to hear from several students, Orlando Lopez and Odette Karina Hernandez, who is a Lehman College nursing student. These students are going to share what they experienced in Puerto Rico with you. These students spend time volunteering in Puerto Rico, cleaning up, rebuilding, and helping families in Puerto Rico get back in their homes and move forward following Hurricane Maria. These students gave back to people they don't know, but they felt it was important to give back. Please join us tonight as we learn firsthand from people who are helping to rebuild Puerto Rico. I am Rosia Akhtar, Lehman College student. I hope you enjoy tonight's program. Thank you.
Welcome to Bronx Journal Radio, and I'm your host, Jennifer Ramirez. And with me today, I have Tashi Sango and Odette Hernandez, two CUNY students who volunteered in CUNY Service Corps, Puerto Rico. How you doing, guys?
I'm good.
So how was Puerto Rico? The both of you? I don't bite, I promise.
So Puerto Rico was a life-changing experience. I believe it's one of the best things I ever chose to do. Just seeing how I could impact lives other than my own, basically. And taking my volunteer experience that I learned here and taking it overseas to Puerto Rico was amazing, and I hope to do it again.
What inspired you to go to Puerto Rico?
One of the things that inspired me, in my school in Lehman, I'm actually part of the Lehman Life program where I volunteer abroad, but it was the medical field. So when I chose,
You're a nursing major, right? Because I read that.
Yes, but I changed my major.
Oh, okay.
But I'm still doing healthcare. So what inspired me to go to Puerto Rico was my love for serving others, even if it's not in the medical field. I just love being a part of something bigger with a group of leaders and people that inspire you to be better.
And from my side, like, my 2 weeks service in Puerto Rico over the summer and over the winter, it truly means a lot in many ways. Just like, helping people, making their roofs, just talking to them, having some conversation. It was one of the most rewarding and eye-opening experience. Like what they mentioned.
Did you guys work together while you guys were out there?
No.
We did not.
Oh, that sucks.
Uh-huh.
But did you guys see one another or not at all?
Yes, we did. Over
Yeah,
the weekend.
so over the weekend, we would get together for the group activities, but I was in San Juan while Tashi was in Orocovis.
So give me a play-by-play. So how is it waking up? Like, what was the start of your morning? What times were you guys waking up?
Tomorrow we have to wake up at 5:30.
Okay.
And get the breakfast will be served at 6. Then 6:30 we have to go to our work site, and the work site was it was approximately 30 minutes away from the place where we stay.
Okay.
So we have to be there around like 7:10. We work from 7 till 12. Then we get 1 hour break. Then after that we sometimes work till 3:30, 3, 4. So the day end depend, because the earlier we finish the work, we get a chance to leave early. So
I also read that you're from Nepal, correct?
that's right.
So-
I'm from Nepal.
Was there a culture shock for you, like being from Nepal, but I know you live here in New York City? Was it a bit of a culture shock going
Actually,
out there?
I was born in Nepal, raised in Nepal. I came to United States 2010.
Okay.
So not that long ago. It was a little bit cultural shock in terms of language. So seeing the language I speak, it was a little bit cultural shock to me. But other than that, I think you asked what motivated you, or like what motivated
Yes,
me
what was
to.
the inspiration for that?
So for me, cause I'm from Nepal, and Nepal was hit by earthquake back in 2015, and I heard so many heartbreaking stories from my friends, my relatives, few cousins, a lot of cousins are there actually, and one of my friends passed away when they had earthquake back in Nepal.
Sorry.
So no worry. So that's really inspired me. So to help people who has been affected by any natural disaster.
And how was the spirit of the people in Puerto Rico you guys were working with? Go ahead, Odette, talk to me.
So our homeowner was one of the sweetest ladies ever. It was really inspirational to hear her story and how her husband and her son, they actually, a month before we arrived there, they were working on the roofs because they saw nobody was coming to help them. So after we arrived, they were really happy. Even though sometimes they didn't understand because we were with an organization called Nexma.
Okay.
And I guess it was hard for them to see us take down their roofs, but it was because we were going to rebuild it even better and stronger than it was before.
So you're rebuilding a roof. Were you prepared, to go in, hey, I'm a fix it? I know you're not, officially equipped to be
Yeah, so we went over there during the summer. So I
Okay.
kind of had a little bit of experience, but before that, I had no experience, not even, with a hammer. So it was really crazy, kind of getting used to it and just being around people that helped you, even if you couldn't do anything. Like for times when I would be so tired, I couldn't like really do anything under the sun. I would go downstairs, get some water, and bring it up to my team, or I would walk around, talk to the homeowner, see if she's doing okay, because sometimes there would be leaks inside the home while we're working on it because we have to power wash and things like that. So I would just check in if she's doing okay, if she understands why we have to do this, and yeah.
How many sites did you work in while you guys were over there in Puerto Rico? Like, did you change sites on a daily basis, or was just one specific site for that?
So it depends of in our work site. It depend like if we finish one house, then we move to different house. So we were able to we were divided into different groups. So our group, we did 3 houses. So each house they live like a little far from each other. Okay. So we go from, but it's in the same community. We work in the Morowese. So it's in the same community, all the houses in the same community. So so we have to move here and there a little bit, yes.
Okay.
And also, I want to add on top of how people in Puerto Rico. So, like going back to Puerto Rico after 9th month of hurricane, then going back to 16th month after hurricane, the people like they're still in recovery, but they're very welcoming and always like they have the spirit like very generous spirit, and they inspire us as well. So I'm sure a lot of students, I mentioned before as well, I'm sure a lot of students felt the same way, is that we went there to change the life of people, but instead they change our life as well. They give us like hope, empathy, and how to be very caring to each other, and they inspire us as well.
Was there a particular person that you met out there in Puerto Rico that touched you like, oh my God, I gotta come back and meet this person again? Like,
can we say all the homeowner?
Yeah.
All the homeowner.
Yeah, one of the homeowners, her name was Baby.
Okay.
And her mother's name was Olga, and it was their home basically. She was just really sweet to us. She would even like cook us lunch almost every day basically. She would even accommodate those with restrictions, like food restrictions, and she was just so sweet, always talking to us. And actually her mom, she's elderly, but she would still try to help us. Like, no, I got it. Don't worry about it.
Stubborn. I know, my grandfather's stubborn.
Yeah, so she just wanted to help as well. She saw that we were just college students, but we told her that it's okay. Like, we're here to serve you.
So about approximately how many families did you guys meet while you were out there?
So even though we would work on just one homeowner's house,
yeah.
We got to meet the people around the community as well, because they would see us working and be like, oh, hey, like, thank you guys for doing this. So that would be really cool too.
Yeah. So you're in health in Lehman right now. So health-wise, how do you see the people of Puerto Rico doing because of this devastation with Maria? Like, you think there's a lot more progress that needs to get done for them, like health-wise? Because I know, like, medically they're not being supported the way they should be by our government. So
what do you mean by that?
Meaning, because I know I read it like in a lot of papers, like, they don't have like enough medical treatment, or I know there's like diabetes and there's other things. Do you see like a lot of that affecting them while you were out? Like,
so what I feel like is affecting them in the health area would be the financial hardships they're going through because of the hurricane. They have to pay other things, and they don't really have the time to worry about their health needs.
That's and the people the way we were helping were mostly elderly people and low-income families. So whenever there's healthcare needed, it's always needed for them.
How did working with this project affect your CUNY pride?
So this project helped me to grow as an individual as well. It made me more vocal, how to be more vocal in the work site as well, and how to make a connection with among friends and with other people as well. So it make me more better people. Like, it make me like understand how it is, like people, how the living condition of people. So it give me like change the perspective of how I view, and it makes me feel like being in New York City. It make me feel blessed as well, because I see that there's other people who need help, and that's how I feel about it. Yeah.
So and when you guys decide to go back, because I'm not sure if you guys want to or not, what is something that you personally would want to do when you go back over there that you didn't get to do?
So I think there's something that I would want to do here, actually.
Okay.
Just spread the word about Puerto Rico, and just let everybody know that it still needs work. We still need to go over there and encourage other volunteers to go as well, because it's never too late. I know it's been, a couple of months, like a year, and something went by that the hurricane happened, but they still need help. I remember when we were in the plane, you could see all the blue tarps in top of the houses that still needed work. And it's really hard to see that because you don't see that in the news. You don't read about it anymore, but it's still happening.
Why do you think that isn't getting covered in news as much as it should?
Because a lot of volunteer organizations aren't getting the funding they need, as well as, the support they need. Not a lot of volunteers are going. They're like, okay, Puerto Rico doesn't really need help, but it does.
Okay. Tashi.
Yes.
You're a health psychology major at Hunter College, right?
That's right.
So what were your observations regarding the behavior and psychological health of the people in Puerto Rico?
Actually, I did.
Are you changing your major too?
No, no,
Okay.
no. I mean, I'm doing computer science, my minor as well, and the health. I received that question. Like someone asked me that question before as well. So it's really hard to come up with one answer.
I know it's a difficult question. I'm sorry.
Because I wasn't able to because the work we the work we were doing there was it was involved more with the hands-on and more on the construction side. So it wasn't very related to the major I was doing. So that's why I didn't get a chance to connect a lot between the health psychologies and the people in Puerto Rico. Yeah, I actually I did not pay much attention to that.
But I feel like the people of Puerto Rico, they kept a really their soul was just so energetic.
The soul was still intact.
Yes, it was. Even though everything they've gone through, they're still so you feed off their energy, and I love that.
So then going back is definitely on your to-do list.
Yes, it is.
That's definitely yes.
Would you guys want to stay longer the next time you go back to help out, or you think?
If we get opportunity, definitely yes.
Yeah.
For sure?
For sure, yes.
Yeah. I'll be even researching other volunteer opportunities for my friends here in New York, because most of them want to help. They just don't have the tools to help. So I'm glad that CUNY Service Corps Puerto Rico is that basically bridge between, volunteering and
Do you think that the CUNY Service Corps Puerto Rico is a bit too selective, or you think the selective process was okay, I got chosen, I'm gonna do this?
I mean, all the friends and all those students they were selected, they were very talented. They especially when we over the winter break, most of them were student leaders. So I really felt most of them were they had the experience and they were very good at what they were doing. First 2 days it was a little challenging because we didn't have enough tools, so we had to wait for the tools as well. So it was a little challenging. Other than that, once all the tools were there, 90% know what they are doing. So I felt like whoever were chosen and whoever they do good, perfectly good job.
Or that you mentioned earlier, you built a bed. How was that?
So the first time we went to Puerto Rico, which was over the summer, our first assignment as soon as we landed was basically to build our own beds, because they thought it would help us. They thought it would help us get used to the tools we'll be using on the roofs and kind of getting that hands-on experience right from the jump. It was a really good team builder activity, I guess.
Okay.
It was really different because none of us had ever done that before, but the people from the organization were really helpful and gave us a helping hand all throughout the 2 weeks I was there.
What is something you learned out there in Puerto Rico that you didn't learn here while being a student in CUNY?
One thing would be leaders come in all shapes and sizes and forms. Because a lot of people, when you go, they might be on the quiet side. They might not be as outgoing as others, but those are the ones that you have to look out for because they're the ones that really make the impact. I know a lot of my friends, they would be, quietly doing their thing, but you would recognize that that's a true leader. They're just doing their thing. They would ask, okay, are you okay? Do you need this? Do you need that? You should probably take a break, things like that. And that was really helpful. And I also feel like people that didn't get into the CUNY Service Corps program, they shouldn't be discouraged because this is not the only
I
volunteer
know I
opportunity.
applied. I'll apply after
Alright.
today.
Yeah.
Again, so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
so there's so many other ways you can help Puerto Rico if you don't get in. Don't be discouraged by the fact that you didn't get in. And if you didn't, just apply for the summer. It's going to be open in March, so be on the lookout for that.
Definitely
Okay.
true. And for my like 2 week service over summer and the winter, like it really gave me strong desire to be a global citizen. So we watched a few videos during our pre-project training, and it made me like just help people wherever they're like I feel like no matter where we're from, where we live, we are more similarities than different. So I feel like it should be in our blood, helping people. So actually, I want to read one of the supervisor, I think he says something about, he says something that really touched me, was that, so
Take your time. I'm not going anywhere.
so it was, yes, I found it, yeah. So, it was, he mentioned that, so whenever there's opportunity and service like that, or whenever you get chance to help people, always, whenever you get chance to say, whenever you get chance, an opportunity to help people, always say yes, because when you help people, you help yourself as well. And when there's a service, always say yes, because when you service others, you get more in return. So that's the quote.
very enriching.
It was, and it's always touched my, and it's really applied me as well. So going there, helping people, but it helped me. A lot of us help us as well. So just whenever there's service like that, just always say yes. When you give something to them, you'll get something more in return
You
for
just
sure.
give off the zen, and like you came back like, oh my goodness, I want to help everybody. We actually have 2 Facebook questions that we want to ask you. So, Our Lady Tiano asks, how did you feel volunteering on your day off?
That question's for me.
I heard you do volunteer for the day off, right?
So me and this group of amazing leaders, it was Elise,
Okay.
Maya, Tenzin, myself, Jeremy, and one of the, hopefully I'm not forgetting anybody, and one of the supervisors from the program. We went on our day off, which was a Sunday, to go keep helping. When they asked me to do it, I was a little bit confused because I thought it was a work day already. But when I realized it was a day off, I was like, yeah, like, why not? Like, I want to go, and because in order to finish the roof that we started, we had to go on that day off in order to prime it and then be able to paint it on our last day. So just being with people that wanted to volunteer while they're volunteering was just so inspirational. It was just really great.
To some degree, it didn't feel like work anymore.
It
right?
didn't feel like work at all. It was so special because there was these double rainbows that were so clear, and it was just so pretty, and I felt like everything was just right. It got to a point when we were leaving, I was like, why are we, like, I just want to stay and keep painting it. And it was really special because those people, like, really, you could tell they really wanted to be there. They were exactly where they had to be. And that, I feel like when they asked me before, I feel like that was the day I loved the most in Puerto Rico. Because after that, we just went to eat in this beautiful restaurant in Puerto Rico. It was a local restaurant around the college. And then we went to the beach and just spent time with each other. And it was perfect. It was a perfect day.
Yeah, I mean, I have so much respect and love to the one who to their group. I saw in the picture, because Alex, they came to on the other side, and I heard oh wow, there's other volunteer. They were working on a day off as well. So it was a very very amazing to see. Even though they're even though we have a day off, but they're working on that. So much love and respect to them. And sometimes, but I feel like it is very important, just to take a day off when there's a day off, because we were working 5 days a week. So from from morning to then afternoon, 1 hour break, sometimes only 45-minute break, then sometimes 2:30, 3:30. So I feel like it is good. It is very inspiration to work on the weekend as well. But if if you're not tired, just continue doing it because we go there to help people. So, but at the same time, we do need a day off, like, just to relax ourselves and get ready for next
How were the beaches out
day.
there? Were they still beautiful at
Yes,
least?
they were
Okay.
beautiful.
I love Puerto Rico so much. Yeah,
Okay.
that's so
The other question is from Gabriela Martinez. And she asks, how has your experience impacted your outlook as current students and future professionals? Has it made you more mindful or changed your career goals? Tasha, you could start off.
Yeah, definitely. My experience in PR changed me a lot. It helped me to just how to connect with the people, how to. Before going to PR, I wasn't reach out to a lot of friends. I barely talk with a friend, but doing service in Puerto Rico is like give me a high hope and a strong desire to connect with the people and with the among the friend as well. So it definitely changed me a lot of way, like especially in communication skill as well.
And your dad?
Supporting the people of Puerto Rico, being an advocate for them made me want to advocate for my patients more. I'm currently interning at Jacoby Medical Hospital,
Okay.
where I advocate for the patient, what they need. I'm like kind of the liaison between them and the doctors. So it was really cool to get to work on my communication skills, get to just talk with people, learn their stories, and be advocates for them.
Did you guys have any preconceived notions before you guys got to Puerto Rico? Like you already had a picture in your mind of how it was going to look, opposed to when you guys got there?
From video and through a little video when we had pre-budget, it helps a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, but but still, seeing it was very different. Like for me, just seeing on a video and being there and helping people. So it was very, I saw a lot of videos and in like YouTube and the social media about being there and seeing how the people live, seeing their living condition. It was very heartbreaking to see. So it was from seeing eye to eye was very, very different than seeing on a video.
It was definitely an eye-opener
It
then.
definitely was very, very
Being in the
eye-opening.
moment was totally different from seeing it on social media or seeing it in
Because I
video.
feel like they don't, like the videos probably don't capture as much as what you guys saw,
That's
obviously.
right.
Yeah.
That's definitely
Nothing would
right.
capture the moment we felt when we got there and saw how much work we needed to do.
And what was your takeaway from the culture of Puerto Rico?
So the culture of Puerto Rico, I find they're really close to mine because I'm Dominican.
Okay.
One of the things I loved about it was the bomba dancing.
Okay.
I'm gonna mention I thought I mentioned that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love the bomba dance.
So on our first night, it was a Monday night, we went to this bomba place where there's lots of bomba dancers
Is
and
bomba
anybody.
in plena or just...
For that night it was just bomba, but
Okay.
the other nights it was plena.
Okay.
And we got to see some of the bomba dancers, and you could dance if you want to as well. And it was just a great experience seeing all the dancers. Like, you get such a natural high from it. It just felt so good. Everybody was enjoying their time there. Everybody was just dancing freely, and it was really cool to see that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Puerto Rican culture, I feel is very rich. The bomba dance. I had so much fun learning bomba dance from our expert from Hector. He's really good at it, and also a lot of friends. They had a Puerto Rican background and they like teaching salsa as well, learning salsa from them.
So you guys
It was-
both learned how to dance salsa out there?
Yeah, well, actually, my friend taught me salsa as well, so I do know a little bit of salsa.
Oh! So you walked away with a lot more than coach.
And also food there. I love the food as well, especially the mofongo, rice and beans, and yeah.
So rice and beans was every day? or then-
Yeah, mostly yes. Also every day, yeah. Dinner like rice and bean. Lunchtime, rice and bean most of the time for us, yes. With the chicken as well, a little bit chicken, and there has a little spicy call. I forgot the name. It's really good. It's I forgot the name. They're like a little spicy. So I forgot the name, but it was a really good one as well on the side.
Okay. Is there anything you feel that CUNY lacks in the CUNY Service Corps Puerto Rico that you think should be implemented?
I don't think they lack anything. The only thing I would like to see more of is team building activities, because we're going to be there 2 weeks working with each other.
Activities such as what?
Just like team building activities such as getting to know one another and how we work, doing small activities like playing games, getting together as a group, because a lot of times, we get lost in the work, we get lost in, going out, doing this and that, and we don't get to connect with each other. It's really important to do that.
Yeah, actually, I had this conversation with Melissa. She was asking, "Oh, what do you think it's like changes, or do you have any suggestion like that will improve over the summers?" And I was telling her like, just giving once they are selected, just giving them a little presentation and just sharing them like the tools, what are the tools you will be using, what are the wood you will be putting in there, just giving them more knowledge on a work side as well, so that will be very helpful. So that was little lack on the over the summer, because a lot of students, they don't have like proper knowledge what kind of tool they will be using. They don't know the tools, including myself as well. So but over the winter we did have like like most of our aware know about it, but like, for the future student it will be very great. Just give them a little presentation about what are the tools you'll be using, what are the wood you will be applying in there. So
Okay.
that's something that was like over the summer, and it will be very great if they like did that presentation over the.
Okay. Well, it was a pleasure talking to you guys both.
Mhm.
I hope to see you in the CUNY Service Corps Puerto
Yes,
Rico when I
Yes.
apply.
definitely. Okay, definitely sounds good. Okay,
And thank you for stopping by.
and thank you so much for
Thank
having
you.
us. Yes, and I also want to share like people in Puerto Rico, they're like very welcoming and pleasure. So anyone who's thinking about like doing thinking about doing that, just don't think about it, just apply for it.
Just
like,
go.
Just go. Yeah, like it will be like something like you will talk with your family, friend, and one day you'll look back and you'll reflect and saying that, oh wow, we did that. Like and also the thing is like the work we did will be there for like decade. Like will be last for forever. We're literally providing roof for people. So just giving them sense of high hope and roof. It's very important. So just something about it. Apply. Just
go.
go for it.
Tashi
Yes.
says just go. All right. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Welcome to Bronx Journal Radio, coming to you tonight from Lehman College of the City University of New York. We have a very special program for you tonight. Tonight's program is all about the recovery effort in Puerto Rico. We are going to hear from several students, Orlando Lopez and Odette Karina Hernandez, who is a Lehman College nursing student. These students are going to share what they experienced in Puerto Rico with you. These students spend time volunteering in Puerto Rico, cleaning up, rebuilding, and helping families in Puerto Rico get back in their homes and move forward following Hurricane Maria. These students gave back to people they don't know, but they felt it was important to give back. Please join us tonight as we learn firsthand from people who are helping to rebuild Puerto Rico. I am Rosia Akhtar, Lehman College student. I hope you enjoy tonight's program. Thank you. Welcome to
I apologize. Welcome to Bronx Journal Radio, and I'm your host, Jennifer Ramirez, and the other two hosts with me are...
I'm Ashley Lorenzo. I'm a journalism major here at Lehman College.
I'm Genesis Santos, and I'm a Media Communication Studies student at Lehman College.
And with me today, with us today, is our caller, Mariposa Fernandez.
On what is and is not happening in Puerto Rico almost 18 months following Hurricane Maria.
Melissa?
There's a lot that
Yes.
we know,
Hi,
but
Melissa.
there's also a lot that we don't
Hi,
know.
how are you?
Some
I'm doing well. How are
recovery
you?
rebuild facts are very
Great.
gray,
Can you hear me
and
okay?
sometimes
Yes, I
really
can. Can you hear me
difficult to
okay?
get the full story
Yes,
on what's
we're
happening
good.
with the recovery efforts. For example,
Hi, Melissa
Antonio
Fernandez. This
Torres,
is Genesis.
who's
It
the
is our
head of
pleasure
the
to have you on our
Fishermen's
program tonight.
Association in Puerto Rico said
I'm so
recently,
happy to be
and
on
I'll
your
quote,
program.
Amazing.
It's like the
May I
hurricane hit
ask what
just
are your
yesterday,
responsibilities as a
adding that,
program
and I'll
director
quote
for the
again,
CUNY Service Puerto
everything
Rico
that was
program?
promised has never arrived. But meanwhile, President Donald Trump
everything.
called the recovery efforts in Puerto Rico, and I'll
So
quote him,
I came
an
onto the
incredible
program to the
unsung
project
success.
as it was
And also
being
said, and I'll
announced
quote again,
last
it was one of the
April
best jobs
at the
that's ever
governor's
been
press
done.
conference.
Who do we believe?
And we had
Do we
kind of
believe
heard
the
rumblings
president,
that this was
or
a
do we
possibility
believe
that this might
Antonio
happen. So I had
Torres?
already been planning
USA Today
the
reports
launch.
FEMA, the
I've been
Federal
working with
Emergency
CUNY Service
Management
Corps
Agency,
for the
approved
past
more
5
than
years. And so my
460,000
university
applications
director
and more than $1.4 billion
knew that
in
when this
direct
was going to
individual
be
and household assistance
announced
funds
that,
in
you know,
Puerto
I was
Rico,
going to be the person
making and
to
marking
start
one of
working
the
on this.
largest
It's something
post-disaster
that is
efforts
very
ever
near and
undertaken
dear
by
to
the
my heart.
agency. More
And
than
it combines all of the
600,000
things that
other
I am
applicants were
most
denied
interested in.
because they did not have the
Student
proper
development,
deeds to their
leadership
properties,
development,
a
and of
widespread
course,
problem
my
in Puerto
ISLA,
Rico.
Puerto
Other
Rico,
factors, according
and
to
everything
FEMA
that had been
stats,
happening
this year, the
last
agency
year.
adjusted the requirements
So
to
I've
ensure
been
that
involved in
more
every aspect
applicants
of the
gain
program,
access to
from
the
the
money.
application
That's from
development
Mike
to
Burns, who is
reading. We got
FEMA's
3,000
federal coordinator in
applications
Puerto
in 3
Rico.
weeks.
The Commonwealth of Puerto
And we
Rico
read and
government
scored every
estimates it's going to take
application. We interviewed
$139
about
billion,
500 students
including
in 1 week.
$33 billion, that's
Through
with a
group
B, for
interviews,
housing to
I
rebuild
helped
Puerto
to
Rico.
create the
So let me paint a little
pre-departure
picture
training that all
of the
students had
disaster
to
that
go
was
through.
Hurricane
And then
Maria
once
and
we were in
continues
Puerto
to be
Rico,
the
you know,
cleanup
everything
for
that
the
happened on
hurricane.
the ground, from,
Storm
you know,
surge
working
from
with
the
our
hurricane
partners
pushed
to
more than
supporting
a
our
mile
students, to
inland,
hiring and
bringing with it a
training a
mess of seawater
chaperone
and
team,
sewage.
creating cultural experiences, because I felt that that was also very important. In addition to the service, I wanted students to really understand the context of the work that they were doing, understand where they were, and you know, in history, but also like physically. This is an island of culture and people and history that they needed to have an understanding of. So everything. That's my responsibility, and
That's
it's something that I've taken on. You know, like I have probably never done something as important as this in my entire life. This is probably the most important project I've ever worked on.
And what really inspired you to help facilitate the CUNY Service Corps Puerto Rico program?
I mean, I'm a proud Boricua, born and raised in the biggest village, Puerto Rican village in the world, which is called the Bronx. And so I have always been involved in my community. After the hurricane, you know, like many Puerto Ricans in diaspora, devastated. I remember sitting at my desk trying to concentrate, you know, back in September of 2017, you know, thinking about like getting all the pictures, seeing all the pictures that were coming in, places that I was familiar with, trees that I recognized and being, you know, gone. And so, you know, working with Mariposa, who, you know, was very activated immediately after the hurricane, and working, you know, we also not only sent stuff to Puerto Rico, but, you know, I did a coat drive at my job to get winter clothes for the children who were, you know, who had found themselves now in New York during the, you know, a winter, you know, having to leave the island. So, you know, I did a lot of things, and, you know, the inspiration comes from just love for my people and love for my island. You know, being Puerto Rican is 100% of my identity. And so there was absolutely no way that I was not going to be a part of this project. And I was, I don't want to say that I was lucky to be selected as the project lead, but everything that I've done in my career and in my life has led me to be just ready when this was announced to just go.
It sounds like you were more than ready.
It's really incredible.
How does the program measure its success?
Oh, that's a question that we get asked. There are tangible results, and then there's the intangible. So tangible results, we can count the number of roofs, we can count the number of families, the people who live in these houses that have been, repaired, restored, rebuilt. Those are numbers. We can count those things. But then there is the intangible results that is harder to quantify. The students who have gone to Puerto Rico and have done this service are forever changed. And I see that in each and every one of them. And it happens almost immediately. The impact of the work that they're doing is something that they can see and feel and witness on day one. The first day they're on the roof, they see this makes a difference. This is going to change this family's life. And they work so hard. What are the long-term effects of this life-changing experience for the 200-plus students who completed service over the summer and over winter break? That's yet to be seen. But the network that is strengthened across CUNY campuses is also an intangible result. But, it's not such an easy question to answer. And it's not always the answer that a future funder might be most interested in, but it's still powerful.
What is your goal to accomplish with CUNY Service Corps Puerto Rico? How long do you want this to go on?
So we are there right now to rebuild and repair roofs, and that is something that none of us wish. Everyone no one wants to do this. No one wants this to be the reality that we have to go and support this kind of work. We wish that the hurricane never hit Puerto Rico, but we are. As long as Governor Cuomo, he put the mandate out, that we were going to go and we were going to be a part of this recovery effort, and as long as there is a roof that needs repair, that has a blue tarp on it, I will be satisfied when there are no more blue tarps and when they don't need us anymore. But service is such a valuable experience. It teaches the one who serves so much about life and what it is to be a global citizen. So I foresee in my vision and what I hope, and I'm going to put it out there, is that we continue to do international service in Puerto Rico and beyond. There are a lot of things that CUNY students can bring to the table in terms of providing service to the world. CUNY is an international university. We speak all the languages and we come from all the places. So why not send our students across the world to bring their academic prowess, their heart, their hard work, their commitment, and their love to projects beyond this? We can help clean the ocean. We can help clean the forests. We can do all of the things that our students are learning how to do in their various academic pursuits and apply it. Mental health, I heard you guys talking earlier about, to Odette about, the health-related projects that, are possible. There are so many things that are possible, and we can start pilot all of these ideas in Puerto Rico, with forestry or marine health, mental health with the people. Our Puerto Rico needs translators to help with the FEMA application process, legal advocacy. There are so many things that our students are learning and are equipped to support. And we can do all of those things. But we're starting right now with the most immediate and the most obvious. People still need a roof over their head.
Okay.
And I know that the applications are opening up again in March. What does does the program have any specific goals or any things that they're really trying to attack this time around?
The work is still roof rebuilding and repair. There are an estimated over 250,000 houses that still need roofs. And so this work is far from done. We were there all last summer, and I think we did 175 roofs, which is a lot, and it's something to feel good about.
For sure.
But when you put that against 250,000, and our programs are not the only ones who are, out there doing service. You go to Puerto Rico and you see various churches and the Jehovah's Witnesses, and lots of people are coming to do volunteer work in Puerto Rico, and which is amazing. But there's still so much to do. So this summer, our goal is to go back. We're going to be there for 8 to 10 weeks over the summer, from June to August, and students will be able to do either 2-week or 3-week service sessions. And with 250 students, that's our goal, to get back there this summer with our students.
Melissa, what are you looking for in an applicant to go to Puerto Rico?
Let's see. I am specifically looking for someone, and we had so many applications. It was a lot. And the first thing that we're looking at is the application itself. And there's, people who put in the effort. We ask for, there are essay questions. Put your heart into that. People are reading these things very seriously. When your application is being read along with 2,800 applications, yours has to stand out. So don't be shy and don't be stingy with the word count. Put it all out there. That's what's going to get you into the group interview. Talk about why this is important. What is your personal connection to this? So many of our applicants were survivors or had family members who were survivors of natural disasters throughout the world, whether it was the earthquake in Nepal or Mexico or Haiti, tsunami. So many of our students who applied had deep connection to, just like Tashi was talking about, a deep connection to wanting to help people. That's important. That's what's going to get your application turned into an invitation to the group interview. At the group interview, we want to see people who are just being themselves, people who are able to share who they are. How do you work? And there's a part of the group interview where people have to work together on a project, and how do you communicate? How do you agree when it's not so obvious? How do you disagree when there are multiple ideas and agendas happening? Working on a roof is hard work. And, how do you work when you're in a bad mood or you're tired or it's hot and you're thirsty? Everybody's great on an application and a group interview, but, really we're looking for those tells. How is this person going to be under a little bit of stress with new people in a place that it may or may not be familiar, doing something that they probably have never done before? So, being open-minded, being flexible, being fun to be around. You're working hard. You don't want to be around somebody who is not going to, lighten the mood. So, people who are going to make this experience even that much more meaningful.
What else can the CUNY, let's say, for example, the CUNY student that doesn't get in, what can the CUNY student do for you guys even though they didn't get accepted to go to Puerto Rico? Like, how can we keep this word alive and keep people, informed and updated?
That's a great question, and this time around, maybe I can actually think of ways to engage the great majority of students who did not get selected. But I don't have a good answer for you right now. There are ways, everybody has, from a campus, there are so many volunteer opportunities. You don't have to get on a plane to help someone. And that's only going to strengthen your future application. What volunteer work do you do? What is volunteering part of your mentality? Every campus has volunteer opportunities, service days, to satisfy that. And you don't have to go to Puerto Rico to get that good feeling of like, I helped somebody, I made a difference. But that's a great question and something that I have to consciously think about.
Please let us know.
Year, I will, because last year, if you guys understood the timeline that we were under, because the application, the governor announced on April 17th, and we left on June 11th.
Wow.
So we did everything from the end of April to the beginning of June. So please, I'm sorry, I didn't think about, there was no time to think about, well, how do we engage the 2,500 students who didn't get selected? But it is important. It's important because everyone who applied because they were interested in the opportunity. It was something about it that spoke to them. And, we invite everyone who applied last year who didn't get in, apply again. And, just bring your A game, because a lot of people want to go. This is probably one of the most competitive projects I've ever worked on at CUNY. And unfortunately, we just couldn't take everybody. It was a finite number of slots. So, I encourage everyone to continue to, read all of the news that's coming out. Learn about what is happening with the debt crisis. Learn about COFINA. Find out what's happening in Puerto Rico if you're really interested. Don't skip those stories. Read and find out. And even if you don't get into this program, there are other service opportunities that you can plug yourself into. Some of the students who were in Puerto Rico this past summer stayed connected to one of our NGO partners, All Hands and Hearts, and they were in Mexico building a school over the winter break. So there are other ways to get yourself out there, even if you don't get into this program.
Okay, that's good to know.
We also have a question from Sorelli Sarante. She wants to know, how was the collaboration with the different organizations such as Heart 911, All Hands on Heart, been since last summer?
They have been great. We were really lucky that, they were identified by the governor's team. And when I went out to survey last April, and I met them for the first time, these are organizations that don't necessarily work with large groups of students. This was a first for the three organizations that we worked with, All Hands and Hearts, Nahama, and Heart 911. And they were really open. They were open to try and make this work, figuring out what is it that our students need, what kind of support and resources were put into this, and willingness to take feedback when things didn't work. How do we make this better? Because all three organizations are interested in, and they see the value of a CUNY student. Our students are amazing. You guys are amazing, and I hope that you understand and know how amazing you are, because when the organization, we would go, the first day, and someone would say, from the organization would say, how many people speak Spanish? And half the people would raise their hand, and they would say, oh my God, thank goodness, because they didn't speak Spanish. So now our students are coming and enhancing their services and their resources. Our students became, another human resource to facilitate this work. Like I said before, our students come from everywhere. They have experience that is worldwide. And so these organizations saw that, and it was like a jackpot. It was a perfect combination between their experience and their resources, and then our students really just this whole program just, took off because of the combination of those three things.
So we have a Facebook question from Ariel Estino. And she wants to know, how do you organize cultural activities for students and why are they important?
One of the battles that I fought was to include cultural activities for our students on the weekends. There's really no free time. Everything is kind of planned and organized. And I really felt that cultural experience, being able to be a part of the cultural expression of the island was important, so that they understood how their work fit in, to the island. So last summer, every group went to a bomba class, and they learned what bomba was and the history of bomba, which is the cultural traditional music of Puerto Rico that is, part of our African ancestry. We also spent time in Old San Juan. We also took students to the Poets Passage in Viejo San Juan so that they could hear local poets, and a lot of students, got on the mic for the first time at the open mic. We also had professors and students from the University of Puerto Rico come and speak to our students. And so, trying to provide a full and rich experience for students to really engage in the culture, and then we took people out to eat, because part of our culture is that you feed people. And then you have to go to the beach, because how can you be in Puerto Rico and not go to the beach?
Of course.
So I really wanted students to get, it's like a 4-pointed star. Part of it was to enjoy nature, to see parts of the island. This past winter, we were able to take students to some of the freshwater pools, which was like magical and amazing. The academic approach, where we had our professors come in and talk to students, and then also, the different cultural events that we took students to. This past winter, we were lucky enough to be there during Three Kings Day, and Three Kings Day is like one of the most important holidays in Puerto Rico. And so students were able to participate in various things. And, it is important that, wherever you go, that you understand the culture of the people where you are. We're not, I didn't want students to feel like we were just helicoptering in, fixing a roof, and then leaving. Teaching different Spanish words of the day and different phrases, it's really important so that you're not just a visitor, you are a participant.
Mm-hmm.
That experience alone sounds very rewarding and life-changing. What do you think is in store for the future of Puerto Rico? What would you like to see happen?
In Puerto Rico, in general?
Yes.
Stability, happiness, health, all of those things. I want people. I want for the people of Puerto Rico the same thing that I would want for myself: the ability to determine my happiness. It's for young people to be able to go to school, to get jobs. It's very it's difficult. Students, college students are worried about, if I get this degree, what job am I going to get? That's a very real concern for the young people of Puerto Rico, being able to sustain and live and not have to leave. People leave, there's always going to be migration, but forced migration, due to financial hardship is tragic. And we should be beyond that in this, millennia. I hope that, in my lifetime, Puerto Rico will be healthier and more financially, independent and stable. I can go on, but that's what I want.
I know I keep hearing that you're emphasizing on education and with all that being said, there are a lot of school closures going on in Puerto Rico. I think 225 public schools closed. Do you see CUNY doing anything to do anything in that sector of Puerto Rico, as far as probably building schools or something to educate the people in Puerto Rico? Because these children are, without schools now.
Yeah, I mean, well, what's happening is that the students have to travel even further to go, to get their primary education, and high school. I don't know what role CUNY can play in that, but I know that there are, there's, mentorship. There's a little bit of a conversation that we started when we were in there over the winter with an organization that is interested in our students mentoring some high school students at a camp over the summer. So that's kind of something that we're exploring, and any way that we can support in that. But, as a system, I'm not sure what or what role we could play. But, there are so many different things that we can explore and be creative so that more of a connection can be made and our students can play a part.
Sounds good.
In speaking with the other, our other guests and the students that are a part of the recovery effort in this program, in your personal opinion, what do you see this program doing? What is in store for the program? What do you think is going to happen? Do you think this program is going to grow and become very strong? Because
I really hope so. My vision is Service Corps Global. Let's go all over the world. Let's do service everywhere, and really make a difference. So many of our students, CUNY students have a lot going on. I don't know many CUNY students who don't have a job or two. Who are involved on campus, who are raising their own families, who are taking care of their parents or grandparents. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes volunteering can be exclusive, because who has 2 weeks to, not go to work and not get paid to go do service? So one of the reasons why we really appreciate the NGOs that we're working with is that they believe in removing those barriers so that anyone can volunteer, anyone can help. A lot of these organizations provide flight vouchers, and they provide room and board once you get there. So my vision is to continue to work with these organizations and find some more who support our students in getting out in the world and, doing service. It can change your trajectory, depending on how this affects you. Students have changed their majors or have thought about how they could apply their major in a different way. There are so many ways that this can impact a student and the world. So, my vision is that we get out there and do more service, go more places, but we got to get the funding to do that.
So funding is definitely a challenge for the program. Are there any challenges the program faces currently?
No, I mean, CUNY right now has taken on the responsibility of funding this program, and they understand how important it is. It is coming down through the governor who identified this as a priority, and the university is going ahead and funding this. But we do have to find a more sustainable way of funding this program and also, outside endeavors outside of Puerto Rico. But other challenges, I mean, this is the good news. It's an amazing opportunity. It's an amazing program. I cannot be happier, working on this. The students that I've met, they have changed me as much as this experience has changed them. They give me hope. I deeply love my students who have committed to this. I see them work so hard, and I'm so proud of them. And I just want to be able to provide this opportunity for as many students as possible, so that they can get the experience as well.
We will spread the word for you.
Melissa.
Yeah, so speaking of spreading the word, the application will be going live in March.
Yes.
It's going to be a pretty short application period. It's not going to be open for months and months. We want to do the application in March and start reviewing and group interviewing students during the month of April. Probably very heavily during spring break. And hopefully, we have to start buying plane tickets because plane tickets are not cheap. So the sooner we can identify a core of students, the better. The next couple of months is going to be intense. My suggestion to any students out there who are listening, who listen to the rebroadcast, when the application goes live, do it. Don't waste time. Don't procrastinate because the application is not going to be open for months and months. It's going to probably be open for 2 or 3 weeks.
Melissa,
and get ready.
Melissa, I want to thank you so much for giving us a part of your time and really speaking on this program. It's a complete honor to have you here and speaking to us and really providing us with such amazing awareness and information on the program. So thank you.
Thank you. No, thank you. And thank you. Shout out to Tashi and Odette and
Tashi came back a changed man.
Everybody in the chat room, and shout out to Mariposa because let me tell you, I could not have done this without Mariposa. She has been my most powerful ally. She is really amazing. She helped everything, from making sure that the receipts got turned in to talking to the professors to setting up our dialogues with other students. She has, given so much to this project, and there's no way that this program would have been as stellar as it is without her. So big shout out to Mariposa.
All right, well, thank you so much for calling in, Melissa. Have a good night.
You're welcome. Good night.
Good night.
Que las pare a veces con un de despiadado